Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. So Bitcoin was down today. Miners were down for the most part as well. Markets were kind of mixed a little bit today. And we have some good news, obviously, from Cleanspark. They provided that they doubled their HODL position, which is kind of surprising. We'll get into all that. They also reached 9 exahash by the end of the month, which is also great for July. And then we also have Digihost providing their production update for June as well, or sorry, July. And we'll get into that. It was a little bit underperformed than what we would expect for them to perform, okay? So also, we'll get into something different of a format here. We're going to get into the news stories first, then we'll get into Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners, see how they did, and network hash rate towards the end. Let me know if you guys like this type of format better or if you prefer the other way. Let me know down in the comments. I'd appreciate it, okay? But as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, and I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. If you enjoy this type of content, it would mean a lot to me if you guys would hit the like button, subscribe, helps a lot to the channel. Okay, so let's take a look at the news stories that we do have here. We'll get on Cleanspark first, and we'll get into all the data. So Cleanspark releases their July 2023 Bitcoin mining update. Here's what they had to say. In less than 1 month, we brought 2.3 exahash of capacity online and doubled our Bitcoin holdings, said Cleanspark CEO Zach Bradford. We increased our Bitcoin holdings due to what we see as substantial momentum building across the Bitcoin ecosystem. This move further underscores our commitment to Bitcoin and our critical role in building Bitcoin infrastructure. So that's good there. So it looks like they might be trying to HODL more and more here towards as we get closer to the halving event. We are now on a journey to nearly double our size to 16 exahash in the next half of a year. So they're at 9, so they have to install another basically 7 exahash to get there. During this time of rapid growth, we will also be turning our attention to filling any gaps and optimizing our fleet to further boost our hash rate and efficiency. So that's great there. I think what he's talking about there is possibly getting rid of some of the older miners that they do have. They don't have a lot, but they do have some to increase efficiency as they get into the halving event. I look forward to providing further insights into our past and future efforts on our earnings call next week. So we do have the quarterly, this is I think going to be their Q3, which is actually the Q2 for this year results. That's going to be next week. And here's the details as far as what they mined. Bitcoin mining update. Bitcoin mined in July was 575. Total BTC holdings as of July 31st was 1,061. Huge increase from what they had in June. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Total BTC sold in July was only 43. And month-end fleet efficiency was 29 joules per terahash. Current hash rate was at 9 exahash with an asterisk. So here's the asterisk part of it. Operating hash rate for the month averaged approximately 7.6 exahash due to the several weeks of rapid growth. Full value of month-end hash rate expected to be realized in August monthly update, and that would be true. So as they had 2.3 exahash of miners to get installed. You're not getting those all installed in one day and running and everything else. It takes a while to get those installed, so that's why we didn't get the full impact of that 9.6 exahash, which we will get in August on that, and then we'll see if they grow any further here in August. They do have a lot of miners on order. They're also building out infrastructure in other facilities in Sandersville, I believe, which is going to possibly take a little bit longer to get those other miners installed, but they should get that done all by the end of the year. We'll see. Okay, and I think that's it here for, yep. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. Here's Cleanspark right now. 112 million shares outstanding. Stock price is at $5.61. Current market cap is at 632 million. Their performance so far hasn't been, well, it's been under, I would say, subpar compared to some of the other miners. Even though they've had huge growth here, I think the fear of dilution has played into it as well. I think a lot of people were thinking they were going to dilute the whole 500 million of the ATM to grow to the 16 exahash, which I know that wasn't the case. It doesn't look like it's going to be the case. But nonetheless, they're up 39% in the last 12 weeks, 56.8% in the last 8 weeks. They're down actually in the 4 weeks, down 0.7%. And last week, they were down 7.17% on the week. BTC HODL here. You can see that they were at 529 BTC HODLed in June, and they increased that quite nicely here to 1,061. Their current hash rate is at 9 exahash. Future hash rate's at 17.5. This is with all the miners that they currently have and the miners they said that they're purchasing. Now we'll get into down below actually what miners they might be getting rid of here. Let's see here. So they're currently, let's see, hash rate growth 95% left. It's going to be a little bit less than that if they get to only 16 exahash. Their average hash rate per miner right now is 103 terahash. And let's see here, what else can we look at? Month over month difference BTC mined. So they increased that by 84 Bitcoin compared to June. BTC, let's see here, this is how much they mined each month. Mining BTC, so 575, they had 491 in June. BTC per exahash efficiency came down to 63.9 because they did install a lot. That always takes a little bit of a ding. Some other analysts use the average, so they would have used like the 7.6 exahash to average it out. I use the actual 9 exahash that they had in here. BTC sold, you can see that they sold very little here. It's the least amount that they sold in the full year since last year, going back that far. So that's great there. Also, possibly the only way they were able to do this is because with some of the dilution that they did do to buy the miners, upgrade their facilities, everything else to reach the 16 exahash, they may actually have some cash on the side. So that'll be interesting to see what their cash balance was at the end of June when they report their quarterly 3 results, which is ending in June for that one. So we'll take a look at that. But that's how I'm thinking maybe that's how they were able to do this without dilution, unless they did dilute, which we'll maybe find out. Hash rate growth, you can see here that they were last year at 2.9 roughly exahash. They've basically tripled that from last year, which is fantastic. At 9 exahash right now at the end of July. Monthly revenue reached a new all-time high here at 17.3 million roughly. If you're using the Bitcoin average price for the month of July. Hash rate growth month over month, you can see obviously they installed the most here ever. 2.3 exahash in 1 month. That is just outstanding job by them. Bitcoin sold value, they only sold about 1.29 million roughly, more or less, give or take, depending on the average price of Bitcoin that they were selling it at. And then we got the last 4 quarters revenue and current quarter estimate, last 4 quarter operating costs. So you guys can take a look at that, all those numbers. We'll update this obviously when we get the quarterly results here next week. Let's see, institutions. Institutions did increase to 175 from 163, so that's good. Their shares also increased to 36.4 million from 35.6 million. Percentage is now 32.51% owned by institutions compared to 31.7, so that's good. Institutions are buying in. We still have the same analyst ratings, which is 1 strong buy, 3 buy ratings, and price target is still $12 for the high. The average went up to $10 and the low now is at $8. So definitely way undervalued from where they are right now. But let's take a look at what we actually installed here this month for the miners for them in July. And we installed, it looks like, I'm just guessing here to get into the 9 exahash, they installed possibly these 100 terahash miners and these 122 terahash miners as well. And they were running for about 15 days on average and 13.17 on the 122 terahash miners possibly. The rest of the miners were running at 31 days. So that's got us to the 17.29 million. If Bitcoin stays where it's at right now at the price that it's at, we're looking at August to be approximately 19.5 million in total revenue. But we'll see where Bitcoin goes. Bitcoin's kind of acting a little weird right now. We'll see if it goes down a little bit more before we actually go back up once we get into more of the fall, into September, October area time frame. Okay, so that's those numbers here. Based on all those numbers here, last 3 quarters revenue was about 115 million. That includes the Q2 numbers for them, which are an estimate right now, for me at least. We'll see what they report, how close we are to that. Current quarter is the new one that we're in, which is Q3, which is going to be, I think, their Q4. Based on all that combined, total is 171 million. We're looking at PE of 20 at $15.20 and 75% net income PE 20. We're looking at $22.80. Way undervalued. $5.61, still way undervalued in my opinion. And then if we use future estimates, so one thing that I improved on this, as I said from yesterday's video, that I was looking to figure out a way to do this. I did this by setting up basically months that we are away from the HODL happening. So right now we're about 8 months from the HODL happening. We're looking at like it might happen in April of next year. So we got 8 months, 7 months going down the road here. But I'm taking that, so I'm basically multiplying the months that we have left of full revenue mining capacity at 900 BTC rewards given out each day, multiplying it by their current month, which was July. And then we're also adding to that the couple months that are after the halving event, which is going to be at 50% income basically at that point. So based on those numbers, we're getting at $15.35 and $23.03. So kind of in line with where we are right now in the past, going into the future here as based on future estimates possibly. So still undervalued in my opinion on that one. And then as far as their HODL is concerned, so with their HODL being now almost 1,000, they put away, basically how much did they put away here on the HODL position? They added, let me see, BTC generated was 575. They sold 43, so that means they put in 532, right? Yeah, 532 BTC into it. If they can do that monthly going forward, Don't know how long they're going to be able to do that, depending how much cash they have, but we'll find that out next week. They could, in theory, if they're just putting away 500 a month here for the next 8 months or so, they could add another 4,000 of BTC HODL into it. So that would get us to about 5,000 in HODL total, potentially. We'll see if that happens. If they get close to that, if they get anywhere close to that, that'd be fantastic. Obviously, with Bitcoin going up in value, then after the halving event in another year or so, they could get up to 150,000 or something like that. Well, then you're looking at obviously that value growing tremendously. They would probably start selling it at that point. That way they can use that cash again to grow through the bear market again and out of the bear market, and even be in a bigger position possibly to be at maybe, oh gosh, I don't know, at 30 exahash at the next halving event or something like that with more efficient miners and things like that. Something to look at into, okay? So that's it. Let me know what you guys think of Cleanspark. Obviously a fantastic job by them getting to 9 exahash now, increasing the HODL position to 1,000. That's definitely going to put them above the couple other ones here that are lower in HODL. I think Cypher, Bitfarms, Terrorwolf, I think, sells everything they own. A couple other ones in there, but nonetheless, it's great news, great month for them, and we'll see how they continue to do going forward into the rest of the year. Okay, so that's it for Cleanspark. Let's take a look at Digihost really quick. They're also pretty easy to report. So Digihost provides July 2023 production update. With July 2023 being one of the warmest months ever recorded, the company voluntarily curtailed its burden to assist the energy needs of its local communities in Western New York. While this ultimately lowered the number of BTC produced by Digihost during the month than it had originally anticipated, the company reacted accordingly under the extreme weather conditions of July in order to provide its local area with supply necessary to avoid interruptions or service. So I think this is great. This is one of those things where Bitcoin mining is a benefit to the local communities when they do this. And obviously, they're going to take a hit on production, but with extreme weather conditions, I think it's the right thing to do. Okay, monthly production highlights for July 23, mined approximately 55 Bitcoins. Production of BTC mined is expected to ramp up in the end of Q3 2023 as the company finalizes the infrastructure setup at its most recently acquired site. Infrastructure installation has been completed at the company's other 2 sites. So hopefully they're going to continue to grow here a little bit more in the coming months. Okay, so here's what I got for them on my spreadsheet. Let's take a look at Digihost. Digihost right now has 28.5 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.08. Market cap is at 51.4 million roughly. Their performance for the last 12 weeks has been also under par here. It looks like they're 12 weeks, they're up 28%. 8 weeks, they're 30% up. From 4 weeks, they're up down 3.5%. And last week, they were down 1.03%. Their BTC production has been kind of a roller coaster ride as well. You can see here that in October of last year, they were at 74.58. They bottomed out, it looks like, in March. Well, really, they bottomed out just now, 55. But March was pretty low at 56. They went back up to 77 in May. And then they've come down here in June down to 70, down to 55 now in July as well. So hoping with the weather getting a little bit better here as we get into August, September, October, and November, that things will kind of improve for them as far as Bitcoin mining on that one. Okay, I still have their HODL position at 19.28. They didn't provide a HODL number in the last couple of monthly production updates. We'll probably get that when they report their Q2 results. We'll update that at that time. You can take a look at the monthly difference on BTC mined here, down 2 months in a row here. BTC HODL also has been low, pretty low at 19 right now. BTC per exahash efficiency is down to 60.24. BTC sold, I'm guessing they sold pretty much everything that they mined here until we get some numbers from their Q2 results. Hash rate, they're kind of stuck here right now, 913 petahash. Not much growth for them. They were at 587 of last year. It's pretty. They're getting close to doubling that potentially when they get the other sites up and running. And then monthly BTC mined revenue, you can see that has also been kind of a roller coaster ride. Their best month was obviously May. It was the best month for a lot of the miners as well because of the network transaction fees. And then their hash rate difference, not a lot of growth, like I said, there for them. BTC sold value based on what they possibly could have sold. Then we got the last 4 quarter results and everything else. Institutions and analysts still is the same as it was from the last month, 27, no change there, 2.3 million shares, 8.22%. And still no analyst ratings as far as sell, buy, or hold, and no price targets either. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, with what we do have here for them, the last 3 quarters, current quarter that we're in, which is Q3 numbers, we're looking at with a P of 5 because they don't have a lot of growth. I have them at $1.81, and if we use 75% net income, if Bitcoin goes up in value, they're going to become a little bit more profitable, and their net income is going to increase. With the P of 5 also, $2.72 are $1.80 right now. They're pretty fairly valued right now. I mean, they're down a penny from where I think they should be valued. So they're pretty fairly valued as it is right now. And obviously that can increase as Bitcoin price goes up. So when Bitcoin goes up in value, if it goes to 75, 100,000, whatever it might be, their definitely value will increase as well because they're producing more, generating more revenue at that point. Now, if we look at the next 12 months here, based on the current month, and we're using the 8 months left until the halving event, and then a couple months after that, based on that, we're looking at about 16.5 million if things stay the same. And then my stock estimates for them would be $1.45 and $2.17. So they're kind of a little bit overvalued there on that one. If you look at the current price of $1.80 for the stock price, okay, they're a tough one. You know, they're in a tough spot right now with the hash rate being where it is. They really need to grow a little bit more, I think, and get the miners up and running before the halving event happens. Because once that happens, your revenue goes down. The only thing that's going to really save them is Bitcoin going up in value. Hopefully some of the less efficient miners that are out there, whether they're public or private or just hobbyists, are not going to be profitable as the hash rate increases. That will kick some people off the network, potentially, which will drive the network hash rate down, which would then make all of these miners more profitable that can survive. So we'll see how things happen. But let me know what you guys think of them in the comments down below. We'll talk about it there. And that's it. Like I said, they just need to grow right now. Continue their expansion plan as best they can. And we'll see where they end up in a couple months. Okay, so that's it for that one. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened in the market today, and it looks like the markets were down. S&P was down 1.38%, Dow Jones was down 0.98%, Nasdaq was down 2.17%. We got a downgrade in the rating for the U.S. something, I can't remember what it was today, but that obviously spooked the market a little bit. And Bitcoin is obviously down right now 1.88%. It had a wild day today as well. Yesterday was up quite nicely, or at least last evening, and then today it just kind of fell down below the 20-day and the 50-day moving averages right now. That doesn't really hold. We're possibly going to our next support here, which we bounced off of it, and we may bounce off of that support for a couple times before we actually fall below it. If we do fall below it, though, we may be coming down to the 200 weekly moving average, which is the red line here. And if that doesn't hold, we're going to head into the 200 daily moving average, which is the blue line. And if that doesn't hold, I don't think we're going to be going lower than the 25,000 market. I think that might be our next support after that. And if that doesn't hold, well, then we might be coming down to 23,800. But we'll have to see on that one. Tough to say right now. It's still a little too early, but we'll have to see what happens here. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a pullback before we go into our next major rally before the halving event, possibly. Ethereum was also down today. It was down 1.79% also. It's now below the 20 and the 50-day moving averages as well. It's down 1.79% to 1,839. Miners also were down today for the most part. Annie was down 6.25% on the day. It's below the 20 and the 50-day moving averages. Argo was flat on the day at 0%. Bit Digital was down 5.69%. It kind of bounced off the 20-day moving average. We'll see if that kind of acts as support here. We'll have to see going forward. It all depends on where Bitcoin goes. Bitcoin goes down, these miners are going down as well. BitDeer was up today 0.2%. It's been trading right along the line of the 50-day moving average, as you can see here on the chart. Bitfarms was down 3.37% on the day. It's now below the 20-day moving average. It's been hovering right above that, at least battling with it. So it's acting as support. Next possible stop is going to be at the 50-day moving average. Cypher was down up today 5.67%. It's now below the 20-day. It's trading in between the 50 and the 20 right now. We'll see how long that lasts. Cleanspark was down 3.94% today. It did rise up in the morning, but then it fell down below the 20-day moving average. Core Scientific was down 3.2% on the day. It's still above the 20-day moving average. Digihost was down 3.23%. Now it's down below the 50-day moving average as well. Our next support line is probably going to be the 200 daily moving average. And then DMG was up today 0.61%. It just finished up above the 20-day moving average. Greenidge is now up today 8.4%. It's actually trading between the 20-day and the 50-day moving averages. We got Digihost was down 3.23%, or sorry, Hive was down 3.86%, and it is below the 20-day moving average right now. Hut 8 is down 3.54% currently, and it is below the 20-day moving average as well. Then we got Iris Energy was down 2.4%, below the 20-day moving average as well. Marathon was down 2.08%. It's still above the 20-day moving average, so that's acting as support for it right now. Mawson, way down below the 20 and the 50. It's down 7.55%. Riot was down 1.43% on the day. It's still above the 20-day moving average. Soluna was up to date 10.32%, and it's above the 20 and the 50-day moving averages. Stronghold was down 3.10%. On the day, it's still battling. It looks like using the 20-day moving average as support. TeraWolf was up 2.52%, and it is below the 20 and above the 50 as well. So the next stop might be the 50-day moving average. We'll have to see on that one. Okay, but that's how the miners kind of reacted today. It was a weird day in the markets and in Bitcoin in general and in the miners. So that's what we have. As far as the network hash rate is concerned here, let's take a look at the 7-day average. 7-day average is at 374 million terahashes, and it's kind of going sideways right now. Along with the 1-day, we are down to 361 million terahashes right now. I don't think it has changed from yesterday, really. Or at least I don't see any changes on it right now. Yeah, it's still the same. So we'll see how things go. Other than that, we'll see what else we get tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to get more updates from probably Mara, Riot, some of the other ones as well for the July production updates. So we'll cover those. Let me know what you guys think of the new format with the news up front and then talk about the charts here in the back if you guys enjoyed it or not. And we'll go from there. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you to all the Patreon members. That spreadsheet is going to be updated tonight and uploaded to them as well. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.